morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out on this sort of crazy weather morning. I wasn't sure if it was going to snow, sleet, rain, or now the sun's out, so that's a good sign. This is our 14th annual Martin Luther King program. It's sponsored by the City of Bowie Diversity Committee, and I have with me Elvita Dixon, who has been chair of the committee since its inception in 2004. We welcome you all today. Congratulations to all you finalists. We had almost 600 entries this year, which is fantastic. And we had certain schools that really went out of their way this year, so I just wanted to give them a little extra shout out. Yorktown, Whitehall, Pointer Ridge, and Heather Hills all had more than 100 entries. Speaking of those schools, are there any teachers, principals, aides, anybody here from the schools? Thank you very much. We thank you for the work you do every day and for supporting this program as you do each year. It really makes it special. Just a few housekeeping things. There are 2 exits to the room, at the back of the room or here. In the case of an emergency, you can go out that way or out the front door the way you came in. Restrooms are down the hall, across the lobby by the water fountains. There's also one just outside the door here. We're recording this program, and it will be on the city's website in a few days, cityofbowie.org/view meetings, I think will get you to it. I'll verify that at the end. It's also on our government channel, which is Verizon 10 or Comcast 71, and that will be shown on Wednesday and Saturday. And I'll give you the times for that at the end as well. Today, we're recognizing the finalists, and we had almost 50 finalists, and we are not announcing the winners today. We wanted to shine the light on all these wonderful finalists and wait until you hear what they have to say and the artwork they have done. They will just blow you away. It's just really, really impressive. In February, the committee will choose the winners, and they will be honored at a council meeting. So for today, we just want to shine a light on all these wonderful artists in Bowie, and thank you for the work that you did. And as your name is called, we're going to go through, and your artwork will appear on the slides, show up here. When your name is called, if you would come up here, and you will get a certificate, and you can shake the hands of the council members that are here. And we have Councilmember Michael Esteve, and we're expecting a few more. So the mayor could not be here. His granddaughter lives on the Eastern Shore, and she was in a play today, so grandchildren come first, speaking as a grandmother. And with that, I will introduce Elvita Dixon. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Una. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And just to echo on what Una said, I want to thank all of our contest participants, our finalists, and also the parents, because without your support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And so we really appreciate all of your participation and support to help the city of Bowie to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. And this is the 14th year that we've had the Martin Luther King, Jr. program. And gosh, time has gone by so quickly. I didn't realize we had done that many. And each year it gets more and more difficult for us to try to select finalists because the entries are so compelling and they are really outstanding. So I just want to begin by giving all of the finalists a hand. Okay, for the order of our program, I wanted wanted to begin by just giving a few comments about the program and why we do the program and talk about this year's theme. The theme for this year is freedom, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And we selected this theme for several reasons, but one of the reasons why we selected the theme was because of some of the things that are going on in this country today. And today there are really different Americas. When you think about how we view things differently, how we view health care and immigration and education, the environment, entitlements such as Social Security and veterans benefits and Medicaid and Medicare, government spending and regulation, free speech and free press, the legal use of force. All of these things we have differences on terms of how we view these. And what it boils down to really is an identity crisis for America because we are so divided on these issues. And for so long, we've put so much attention and emphasis on individual differences. We have neglected to focus on the things that bind us together, the things that bring us together, the commonalities. And one of the things that brings us together, and the commonalities are what help us to bridge differences, is that concept of freedom. That is a fundamental American principle. And so that is one of the reasons why we chose this theme, freedom, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And while freedom can mean different things to different groups based upon their past experiences, we can all agree that without freedom, we wouldn't have the great nation that we have today. And Martin Luther King Jr. has always stood for and fought to protect the freedoms that we have here in America. And from organizing the freedom rides in Montgomery, Alabama, to the March on Washington, where he gave his I Have a Dream speech, Dr. King has always stood for the principles of freedom. So today, as we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King, let us not forget all of the sacrifices that Dr. King made so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have today. And Dr. King did speak of the dangers of cooling off. We can't take freedom for granted. We cannot take our eyes off the prize. And what Dr. King said is if we do that, then we will end up in a deep freeze, to quote from one of his speeches. We can't stand still and do nothing when we see our freedoms being attacked. And so according to Dr. King, now is the time to stand against injustice and to protect our freedoms for tomorrow. We need to continue to hold the dream that Dr. King had for all persons to be free. Now we will have a musical performance by Marjorie Reed. We are honored to have Marjorie with us today. Marjorie is a national recording artist, and she also is an employee for the city of Bowie, and she will be performing an original creation, You Will Rise, and this is from her upcoming album and moving forward. And so everyone, please give your attention to Marjorie Reed, and we just want to thank her for being here today.
Good morning, everyone. Before I start, the song You Will Rise, I wrote it for these same purposes as what we're celebrating here today. As you know, we go through many trials and different kind of obstacles in our lives. It doesn't matter the age, from you're small until you're grown. So this song I wrote just as an upliftment song and just to remind you that no matter what you're going through, you can always rise out of it, okay? Whoa. Come on, everybody, clap your hands. Can y'all clap your hands with me? Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Say na 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 na. So one thing you learn in life is creep before you walk. Yeah, I know you might feel down, pick yourself up when you fall. Pick up the broken pieces, get back on the ball. Yeah, I know you might feel down, pick your head, stand up tall, and you will rise, 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 yes you will rise, 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 just know you'll rise, rise, you'll rise above it, oh, doesn't really matter what you gotta go through, just pick your head up, you know you gotta go through. Eyes focus on the prize that's on you, looking into the hands that they got you. Don't hide it, that's all they know how to do. They don't like you, but they say they love you. Rise above all fears that brought you. Eyes to the sky, the only one you love you. Yeah, you're gonna rise, rise, yes you will rise. Rise, rise, yes you will rise. Rise, you'll rise above it, oh, and you will rise. Rise, rise, yes you will rise. Rise, rise, just know you'll rise. Rise, you'll rise above it, oh, doesn't really matter what you gotta go through. Just pick your head up, you know you gotta go through. Eyes focus on the prize that's on you. Plug it into the hands that they got you. Don't hide it, that's all they know how to do. They don't like you, but they say they love you. Rise above all fears that got you. Eyes to the sky, the only one can judge you. Yeah, you're gonna rise, rise, just know you'll rise. Rise, rise, yes you will rise. Rise, you'll rise above it, oh, can I hear y'all say rise a little bit? Yes, rise. Let's say rise, rise, come on, you'll rise. Say rise, rise, come on, you're gonna rise. Rise, you'll rise above it, oh, thank you guys.
Wow, I want to thank Marjorie for such an appropriate song, wonderful song, so timely. Thank you again, Marjorie. Okay, I just had a short announcement before we get started with the moment that you all have all been waiting for, and that's for the participants to get their certificates. We had scheduled originally on the program for Henri Gardner to be here and make the opening comments, but unfortunately, we just got a message that he had become ill. He's the mayor pro tem, and he was going to be here in the mayor's absence, but he sends his regrets that he was not able to make it. Okay, let's begin by recognizing the contests in each of the contest categories. In the month of February, during Black History Month, we will be announcing the winners for the 3 categories. And the 3 categories that we have are coloring, poster contests, and video multimedia. And so, good luck to each and every one of you. Now, as I call your name up, and I will be calling the finalists by category. Please come up and get your certificate. And parents, if you want to take pictures of your child receiving his or her certificate, then we will give you time to do that as well. And Michael, could you come on up so we can shake the finalist's hand? I'm going to.
Okay, if I said about 30 seconds worth of thank yous.
Oh, go ahead. Sure.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you today? Great. Staying warm, I hope. I'm Michael Esteve. I'm one of the city councilmen in Bowie. The mayor and Henri apologize for not being able to make it today. But I just wanted to say a big thank you, in particular to Una Cooper, who's sitting back there, still working for everything she does. She's the city's, she runs the city's communications operations, and she's done an absolute bang-up job helping to put on these events. And I also just want to name real quick and thank every member of the diversity committee. And they very kindly put all their names in the program so that I don't mispronounce any of them. But Ms. Elvita Dixon, who's been chair of this committee for some time and has done an absolute wonderful job putting together this event. Grace Abdul, and if any of the members of the diversity committee are here, would you stand up? They're all there you go. Grace Abdul, Jenny Gilbo, Tisha Hillman, Aubrey King, Gwendolina McLean-Digby, Bola Odejimi, and Lisa Sanford. And the really cool thing about these city committees is it doesn't take a whole lot of work to get on them. It takes a lot of work to stay on them and to participate. But if you want to join any city committee, and we have dozens that hold conversations and talk about important issues of all kinds, you can just go to the city's website. There's a whole list. They deal with pretty much any issue you can think of, and it's a really straightforward process to get on board, and we are always looking for residents to participate. And the Diversity Committee in particular is a really important one to us, especially today in 2017. I asked some kids recently if they knew what an asymptote was. Any mathematicians in the room? No? I know we have some engineers in the audience. An asymptote is 2 lines. It's a mathematical principle. I know I'm talking math at 10 o'clock on a Saturday, so forgive me. But it's a principle in math where 2 lines come very, 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 very close together, but never quite touch. And in many respects, this is the state of race in America. We are undeniably doing better than we were 100 years ago, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago. We are not there yet, and we have a long way to go. And in 2017, we've been given many reminders daily of the work that we have yet to do, the big things and the little things. And the Diversity Committee has been really invaluable to us in helping to facilitate the conversations and to remind council about the important things that all of us need to be mindful of, the big things and the small things, to make sure that in our diverse community, everyone is at home, everyone is safe in every way. And so I thank them for their tremendous work, and I thank you and the kids for your participation in this event today. It means the world to us, and it is important work, and we need to keep doing it. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Esteve. Okay, the first, let me see. Okay, this is on, this is better. Okay, our first finalist is Kirby Andre Fragante, and this is for the coloring contest. And Kirby is a 2nd grader from Heather Hills Elementary. Okay, I'm not sure Kirby is here today, but we'll make sure that he gets his certificate. Okay, our second finalist is Edith Fakete, a 2nd grader from Heather Hills Elementary. Is Edith here today? Okay, our third finalist is David Gross, a 2nd grader from Dora Kennedy French Immersion.
Great, Mirana Kennedy. Second, congratulations. Great job today.
Congratulations.
And Miss Alina wants to give you a handshake too.
Thank you, Dave. Okay. I think Edith is here, Edith Viquete. And Edith is the second grader from Heather Hills. Congratulations. Okay.
Great job, Edith. And I think your dad wants a picture.
Oh,
No,
stay
no,
right
you can
here.
come in here. It's early in the morning for the kids.
Thank you. Our next finalist is Jella Wang.
They're all in the play with the mayor's grandkids.
Our next finalist is Jamison III. James is a first grader from St. Pius Regional. Congratulations.
I think dad wants a picture, James. Congratulations, James. Really good job. Thank you for getting out there on time.
Our next finalist is Jordan Johnson, a second grader from St. Pius. Congratulations. You want to turn your certificate?
Congratulations, Jordan.
Our next finalist is Nalia Lawson, a second grader from Heather Hills Elementary. Our next finalist is Sophie Lee McClellan, a second grader from Yorktown Elementary. Congratulations, Sophie.
Great job, Sophie.
Our next finalist is Imani Lewis, a first grader from Yorktown Elementary.
Well done.
Our next finalist is Jacob Mirana, a second grader from St. Pius. Congratulations. Our next finalist is Ava Marcel, a second grader from Yorktown Elementary. Is Ava here today? Okay. Our next finalist is Maya McMillan, a second grader from Northview Elementary. What's your certificate up?
Great job.
Our next finalist is Galina Moran, a first grader from Pointer Ridge Elementary.
You did a really great job.
Our next finalist is Samantha Newman, a second grader from Whitehall Elementary. Our next finalist is Ola Donna a first grader from Highbridge Elementary. Our next finalist is Lily Watara, a first grader from Highbridge Elementary. Our next finalist is Aaliyah Patterson, a second grader from Tulip Grove Elementary. Our next finalist is Alejandro Peral, a kindergartner from Pointer Ridge Elementary. Our next finalist is Sitalek Perea Pesh, a second grader from Whitehall Elementary. Our next finalist is Payton Sharp, a second grader from Pointer Ridge Elementary. Congratulations.
You got some mad coloring skills there. Thank you so much.
Our next finalist is Ernesto Jr. Sorto Alvarenga, a kindergartner from Highbridge Elementary.
Well done, young man.
Our next finalist is Vana Tran, a second grader from Heather Hills Elementary. And our next finalist is Naini Vong, a second grader from Whitehall Elementary. Nalini, I'm sorry, Vong. And those are the finalists for our coloring contest. Let's give them all a hand. Now we are going to present the finalists for our poster contest, and when I call your name, please come up and with your description, and I would like for you to read your description, and then we will give you your certificate. So the first finalist is Aline Almaki, a third grader from Yorktown Elementary.
Aline's not here, so I'll read what her description is.
Okay.
Her poster is called Diversity and Freedom. This represents diversity because it doesn't matter if we are African American or white or women or even men. We all should be treated fairly and equally. This is how it represents my drawing for freedom yesterday and tomorrow.
Our next finalist is Akwan Atagang. And Akwan is a fifth grader from Whitehall Elementary.
The world is in our hands, and it shows how the world is in our hands. And in the background, the words describe how people were treated in the past, present, and future.
Your certificate. Our next finalist is Sanaa Blunt, a fourth grader from Highbridge Elementary.
Sanaa's not here. Her description says, freedom for a king. In the past, there was slavery, segregation, and discrimination based on race. My past picture shows Black people locked up. In the present, we are united. We have equal rights and equal access to jobs, although there is still discrimination. In the future, I hope that there will be universal access to education and health care.
Our next finalist is Abraham Bressinger, a third grader from Pointer Ridge Elementary.
Freedom through time is, in the past, freedom was something that not every person could experience. That was yesterday. Now freedom is celebrated and encouraged. That is today. In the future, we can work together to make sure that everyone around the world experiences freedom. That is what I hope for tomorrow.
You want to sit? Hold your seat. And our next finalist is Benjamin Bressinger, a fifth grader from Pointer Ridge Elementary. Are you all related?
Freedom in the past was an obstacle to success in our country. It was not something that every person experienced. People were held back because of their color of the skin. They were not allowed to reach their full potential. Today, we look past appearances and encourage each person to be the best they can be. If we all work together, tomorrow can be a success that can not only be seen in the United States, but throughout the world.
Our next finalist is Amara Burton, a fourth grader from Highbridge Elementary.
True freedom was when civilization was of a high culture and spirituality. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saw our need for freedom due to our struggle and resilience. We will have true freedom, justice, and equality in building a better world where we can share love, peace, and happiness.
Congratulations. Yeah, you hold on to that. Our next finalist is Brianna Epicene, and Brianna is a fifth grader from Heather Hills Elementary. And Brianna's description is being read by Abdul Kamoro because Brianna's not here today.
My poster, Freedom and Lack of Freedom. When Martin Luther King Jr. says freedom, it stands for the past and how we had to speak up for freedom. We have to ask for freedom and not just have freedom. That is lack of freedom in my poster. My poster also shows freedom in the present and how we have our freedom and how we recognize who gave it to us and spoke up for freedom. My poster also shows freedom in the future, but in a kind of bad way. In the future, I think we will forget how we got our freedom.
Thank you, Abdul. Our next finalist is Jade Face, a fifth grader from Heather Hills Elementary.
My title is Equality plus Peace equals Freedom. It's an equation. Equality and peace are the two words to describe what I think of freedom. In my future column, I drew Martin Luther King Jr. giving a quote that I thought he would say when and if he saw how everyone is today. On my poster, he said, "We are at last finally free, thank God Almighty." I suggest MLK would say this because in his I Have a Dream speech, he talked a lot about how he hoped that one day we could all be free. Most people think that freedom is only associated with the definition of being able to do whatever you want. None of our famous heroes, such as MLK or Rosa Parks, got what they believed in by begging for it. They got it because they truly worked hard for it. They were dedicated to making a change for everyone here today, just like us. They fought for what they believed in.
Congratulations.
Our next finalist is Shalimia Griffiths Johnson, a fifth grader from Heather Hills Elementary. Shalimaya.
The title of my poster is What Has Changed. In the 1960s, brown people were killed. The civil rights movement fought for freedom. Organizations like the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee were formed. Today, what has changed? Brown people can vote. There is no open slavery. However, people that look like me are imprisoned for petty crimes. They're killed unjustly by police. We have the March for Racial Injustice. It's the same. The future will have a civil rights resolution in our laws. Don't equality protect citizens. Other races must be included in wealth, building, and who runs our country. Congress is mostly white. They made the laws. Let me live.
Our next finalist is Joseph Harrison IV, a third grader from St. Caius.
Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. MLK. When I hear the words freedom, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it makes me feel confused. It seems like in the 60s and 70s, people were working harder towards ending racism in the United States. And today, there are so many bad things happening in the world that I've read in books about the past. We all have to work hard to make the world an equal place for everyone to live in. I hope to one day live in a world where we're all truly free. I have a dream.
Future leaders. The next finalist is Ozadima Julius Ahimiguba, fourth grader from Highbridge Elementary.
My title is Freedom Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. We were all free till we became fearful. This fear led to the
enslaving of colored people. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves in 1863. This led to the American Civil War. He was later killed. The freed slaves, however, were not really free. Segregation, he was later assassinated. Recently, gay people have been allowed the rights to get married. Also, we have the freedom to pray, play, speak, protest, and preserve green energy. But some people do not want us to be free. They want to spy on us, lock us up, destroy our planet, and fight wars. Because Lincoln and King were assassinated, others who are able to help fight for more freedoms are afraid to do so. This will definitely lead us all to more wars, more prison, less freedom, and eventually we lose all our rights.
Our next finalist is Jada Johnson, a third grader from Yorktown Elementary.
Mine shows freedom by telling why you love to be free or nice to other people. With no bullying or cyberbullying means freedom. It shows that people can drink from the same water drinking fountain. It also shows people can sit at the same table.
Thank you. Our next finalist is Abdul Kamoro, a fifth grader from Heather Hills Elementary.
In the past, people had to be a certain color to have their rights. We had someone with courage, actually many people who fought for equal rights. They tried their best to do it peacefully. I wish they could be here to see how much things have changed. But are we perfect? Kids go around saying racist jokes because they think it's funny. Hopefully, we have more people around to be right and ask for it to stop. In the future, I hope that we can be treated like humans.
Very good, thank you. Wait. Abdul, I'm gonna get pictures. Our next finalist is Kristen Lynch, a fifth grader from Yorktown Elementary.
My poster is about how Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. helped African Americans hope for a better future, no segregation, and equal rights. He helped African Americans achieve the freedom that we have today. Everyone living together with no slavery. We continue to hope for a peaceful future where people of all colors can live together without any hate towards one another at all. I believe in my heart that one day this will happen.
Our next finalist is Blessed Mbamuku, a fifth grader from Heather Hills Elementary.
My title is Freedom Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. My poster shows freedom because it shows who some freedom fighters were and how the world will hopefully end up being. The first picture I drew was a picture of Abigail Adams, the wife of former President John Adams. She shows us that freedom should rule amongst all genders, women and men. The second picture I drew was of Michelle Obama. She wants women to have confidence in themselves to accomplish things that men can. My last picture is what these two women equal rights, meaning that all of us, men and women, can achieve what we want to.
Our next finalist is Jayla Myers, a third grader from Whitehall Elementary.
My title is Freedom is Love. Freedom has no color. All people should be treated equally. We should not judge people who are different. When we love, we do not see color. We are free. Freedom yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Freedom every day.
Our next finalist is Tran Parker, a fourth grader from Highbridge Elementary.
Okay, here's what Tran has to say. The title is His Dream Come True. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. believed in freedom. He wanted to give Black people the privilege to shop at malls, dine in restaurants, work as policemen and firefighters, and have peace. He spoke out at rallies and protests. He held marches. He fought for what he wanted. Because of Martin Luther King Jr., people today, like us, get to go to school and learn, drink from a healthy water fountain, live in a home, and not get harmed for doing what is best. I believe in the future someone will follow his path, maybe even one of us.
Our next finalist is Gabrielle Patterson, a fifth grader from Tulip Grove Elementary.
Gabrielle's poster is called Hopes and Dreams for Freedom. Martin Luther King Jr. wanted equal rights for all people. He hoped people would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Today, many people of color, race, and religion can live in peace and harmony. All races will receive equal wages, education, housing, and health privileges. And Elvita, before we go on, we had a late arrival. Sanaa Blunt is with us, so if we could ask her to come up and be recognized.
Okay.
Yep, you can just go on up.
Here it is. Okay. Okay, and Sanaa is a fourth grader from Highbridge Elementary School. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, our next finalist is Dorian Richardson, a fourth grader who is homeschooled.
My poster's name is Freedom of the World. My poster shows what freedom looked like in the past, present, and future, and what I hope it'll look like in the future. In the past, some people judged others by their skin color. They thought they were different. They didn't want to be friends with them. Today, most people are friends, but some still judge others by how they look. I think everyone in the world could be good friends if they tried.
Our next finalist is Shabad Singh, a 5th grader from Heather Hills Elementary.
My poster's name is Freedom for All. The suffrage movement in July 1848 was the first women's rights convention in New York, as women couldn't vote nor they paid the same salary as men. Today, women have become powerful people. Condoleezza Rice, the first African-American Secretary of State, and Admiral Michelle Howard, the first 4-star admiral in the Navy. The 2017 Women's March in D.C. was a protest to advocate for human rights, including women's rights like discrimination and lack of freedom. I dream of a future where one day women and men stand equal and the United States will finally vote and accept a woman president.
Congratulations. Thank you. And our next finalist is Giselle Val Ramirez, a 5th grader from Yorktown Elementary. No description. We don't have a description for this one, okay? And our final finalist for the poster contest is Felicia Worthy, a 5th grader from Heather Hills Elementary.
My freedom poster has an original sign which represents the past, present, and future. The hand stands for segregation. It symbolizes blacks being stopped from participating in freedoms. The heart stands for hope. I chose the heart for hope because of the Adinkra symbol, which is a form of a heart. Last but not least, I chose an Adinkra symbol for freedom. I also included original drawings, a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and a speech bubble. All of this ties to the topic of freedom. In conclusion, my poster shows how freedom can be developed. Congratulations.
Is that your mom? You want me to give it to her? Let's give all of our poster contest finalists another hand. Outstanding job. And finally, we have our video contest. This is for students in grades 6 through 12. And the task was to submit a video, a 60-second video that expressed the theme. And we only had 2 entries in this category this year.
We had 4.
4? Okay, all right. Okay. I need my reading glasses. Okay, 4 entries in this category. Okay, the first finalist is Jocelyn Gross, a 6th grader from St. Anne's School of Annapolis.
Jocelyn couldn't be here this morning with us, so I'll read her description before we show her video. It's entitled Freedom, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. Through the use of music and pictures, my video shows what segregation looked like yesterday, along with the beginning of the Dr. King movement. It also shows how today people of all races have more freedom than they did yesterday. Children of all races go to the same school, and we have had our first Black president for 8 years. However, my video also demonstrates that with white supremacist rallies happening, we still have more work that can be done to teach Dr. King's dream. While I have no pictures for tomorrow, my hope is that we will all be viewed and treated equally. Discrimination will not exist, and public safety will apply to all. Hopefully, one day I can show that the dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness has been realized for everyone.
who was chosen to lead the responsibility of a dream.
Our next finalist is a joint entry, Heston Farami and Patrick Brown, 8th graders from Samuel Ogle Middle School.
Our video is called Who is MLKjr? In our video, we focus on the life and achievements of Martin Luther King Jr.
We went to Washington, D.C. ourselves, where we recorded footage of historical monuments associated with Martin Luther King Jr.
Freedom. When I say that word, what image shows in your head? You probably think of America or the American flag. Or do you think of something else? Well, someone else. Someone who fought for freedom, fought for his people. A man so brave, wise, and young. Now who do you think of? Martin Luther King Jr. is who I think of. Who is MLK though? Martin Luther King was a civil rights activist for the African American community. MLK is one of the biggest, and if not the biggest one. In Washington, D.C. on August 28, 1963, more than 200,000 Americans gathered for a political rally known as the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, based for the African American people. One of the biggest and most popular speeches from MLK took place almost right where we were standing, and oh boy was it inspiring.
Because I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
The I Had a Dream speech was a one-of-a-kind speech that really mind-boggled America. Freedom today in America was different than it was yesterday. The same today, and no telling what it's going to be tomorrow. A lot of people say that racism in America is going backwards. We need new people like MLK, new civil rights activists who will fight for their rights. Us kids are the future, and we need to step up. We need to be like the ones before us. So I'm going to ask you again, who is MLK?
Pictures. Okay, turn around. Let's get a few pictures. Great job. Our next finalist is Brooklyn Patterson, a sixth grader from Samuel Ogle Middle School.
Brooklyn isn't here today. Her video is entitled, "We Can Still Go Further." Martin Luther King Jr. changed how people thought. He helped people realize that the world was not fair. He wanted equality for all races and genders. He and others risked their lives for this cause. Because of his dedication and determination, he was able to change the world that we live in today. Our future is molded by our knowledge of the past.
And our last finalist is Megan Baker, a sixth grader from St. Pius Regional.
Okay, here's what Megan had to say. The title of her video is MLKjr Freedom. My video relates to the theme Freedom Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow by explaining how our world used to be segregated, is now working to become equal, and what we hope our world will be in the future. We need to be the role models for others so they can see what they need to do to make the world a better place.
Outstanding job. Let's give all of our video and multimedia contest winners a round of applause. And we have some closing remarks by Una Cooper.
Just a couple things. First of all, I was wrong on the information I gave you about when the video would be rebroadcast. It'll be on the government channel starting this Friday at 7 o'clock, and that's Channel 10 and Verizon, Comcast 71, and then the following Tuesday and Friday at the same time, 7 p.m. I wanted to recognize the finalists that have been here more than once. I'm looking at you, Joseph, and some of you others. The Pattersons aren't here today, but all 3 Patterson girls were finalists this year, and they have been before. If you've been a finalist before, can you stand up? And I think this speaks to the support that they're getting at their schools and from you parents as well. So thank you for supporting our program. And I think some of you have been a finalist every year that you've entered, since kindergarten maybe. So thank you very much. You can sit down now. In closing, I just want to say, wow, aren't they fantastic artists? And so very profound for their ages. Students, we're really glad that you're paying attention to what's going on in the world around you. I want you to keep on doing that. It's important. We need you in the future. And we want you to keep on hoping and loving and caring. And to the parents, I think you remember some of these names. I think we're going to be hearing from them in the future, and that's really encouraging, I think. And finally, please join us in the lobby. That we just have some light refreshments, and thank you for coming, and we hope you will all be back next year. Bye-bye.